Hello, and welcome everyone. Welcome to this month, November 2023, our Path of a Magdalena program. So, for this month, we have a really special guest. I'm not going to introduce her yet, but I want you all to stay on because this is going to be a really good one. So, we are shifting our Path of a Magdalena program a little this month. So, what we're doing is we are highlighting some of our favorite clips on different qualities of Mary Magdalena. So we'll still have a specific quality of the month, but with that quality, we're going to have a really focused clip with some great content, along with some inquiry questions, a meditation, and different social media content. And so we're going to try out this new format and see how it works. So this month, we are exploring the quality of power. This is a very special quality for Mary Magdalena, and also a very special quality for us in Magdalena healing. So now I will introduce our very special guest for our live interview today, and that is our program director at Magdalena Healing, Mary Sise. And so here she is. So, why this is such a special day is because Mary is really embodies this quality for us. She's an example of this for us. And she's really stepped into this throughout the years. And not just this quality of power, but this feminine aspect of power, which really aligns with our inquiry this month, which is what is true feminine power. So, welcome, Mary. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Kara. It's great to be here with everybody.
So, for anyone who's watching us live, or if you're watching the recording, we really welcome you to comment in the chat. You can throw any questions in there, share your thoughts on what's going on. We really want this to be engaging. And please know that what you share will always serve someone else who's watching. So, Mary, I like to start. So, historically, traditionally, we have what we consider or what we think of as power. Could you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, for me, power was always about kind of getting my own way. I grew up in a big family. So the guy who talked the loudest or the fastest usually had the power, you know? And so I learned to speak up, say what I want. I was powerful, powerful, powerful. And then somewhere along the way came this idea of feminine power, which I had absolutely no clue was. I can tell you that right now. That was not my thing. I was like, get what I want, know what I want, and be a powerhouse, we could say. And usually I could create anything and make anything happen. And that was just how I knew power to be. I never knew what this feminine idea of power was. It was more this make it happen, get everybody else to do what I wanted to do, be the loudest voice in the room, and just make it happen, like, be the leader, kind of like that to me was power.
Yeah, so it's like what I think of too when I think of power is like force and pushing something through and making it happen. I know for me that I'm in this more masculine sense of power when I'm like, all right, bring it on. Like that's it for me. It's like, okay, yeah, sure, bring it on.
Okay, you got an opinion, like, like I don't really need to hear it, but like, yeah, just do what I say. What's wrong with you people?
Right, exactly.
And
And
the
if you
truth is,
don't watch out,
many times I did have phenomenal ideas, but like a powerhouse, I'd be like a train going down going down a hill. You couldn't stop me, and I could make it. But it was like take no hostages. I could like plow over a lot of people and get it done. And so I would get a lot of things done. I could lead a lot of things. There's actually a saying, alone you'll go fast, together you'll go far. And I would say my way of doing power years ago, especially, was that masculine, just alone, get it done. I know sometimes when she would call me out on something, it was more about being a lone ranger. Like, you're like the lone ranger, And I think it's true, but I got a lot of stuff done. There was always people who kind of wanted to work with me. I shouldn't say nobody wanted to work with me, but it wasn't as full as I can create things now in a soft with a softer energy of more feminine power.
And so, Mary, when you think of that shift into this more feminine power, our inquiry for the month is what is true feminine power? So, when you think of that, what does the feminine version look like?
So, from the feminine version has much more heart in it. It slows down. It's less of a bullying power. The heart's involved. There's more time for let me say this. One thing about power that I've found is a lot of power comes with coherent energy. Okay. So I carry a lot of energy. And if I can get it going on something and get coherent, like all of me wants this, okay, I can make you can make things happen. The question is, what's the road I'm going to take to get there? Mm-hmm. Now, my energy is still coherent. This is where I'd like to go, but it's more of an allowing energy where you don't always try to like make it happen or force it to happen. Like use the force word. That's a really good word. Mm-hmm. Versus you're allowing this higher frequency energy to move through you. It's more of an allowing. Oftentimes I'll use the metaphor of a chess piece. So I always have an idea of what I want. I mean, that I just like, well, what do I want? I'm always asking myself, well, what do I want to create now? I'm not random. If you hang around me, you're not going to know. I'm not random. I know, oh, this is where I'd like to go. But now the energy is more allowing spirit to work through me and then magnetizing to me through the and again, this I think is where when your energy is coherent, I'm not like in two minds about something. Do I want it? Don't I want it? Is it okay for me to ask for it? Like I never do that. Okay. I ask. I always ask. And so my energy gets coherent, but the way I maneuver with energy now is much more in my heart and much more spirit moving me rather than me. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Do you think you would have been able to create or co-create Magdalena healing in the same way with the masculine power?
Absolutely not. I knew I couldn't. When Ma and I were first discussing this program and creating, I mean, I had the idea, you know, I mean, I had an idea. What if we do this, you know? And then Ma said to me, well, you know, one of Mary Magdalena's greatest qualities was tenderness. I'm thinking, tenderness. I don't think I have an ounce of that in me. I know we have every energy is in us. It's just dormant. Oh, believe me, tenderness was dormant. And I thought, oh my God, how am I ever going to create this program without the best quality? One of her big ones. I was like in trouble. And so I really had to begin to cultivate this energy of tenderness and of softness. And so once you recognize you don't have it, I shouldn't say, we all have every energy. It's just which ones are dormant and which ones are really flourishing. You know, my masculine make it happen self, which could created all sorts of programs, okay, was not going to be the way that I could create this program for the community, for those who wanted to, you know, when the idea came through me about this program. So I had to like really get my act together and cultivate tenderness. And I remember like I would walk like slower, try to walk slower or talk with you and touch you or move more in my heart. It was like learning a foreign language. And believe me, I still have an accent trying to learn it as an adult. It's not normal. Okay. For me, it's not like my usual. But then it started to become, it would grow and it would grow and it would grow. And I had to take actions and, all right, what else, you know, moving my heart more and then it began. The other thing that cracked my heart was right around the time of creating this was when I got a breast cancer diagnosis. And I remember I was in a journey of profound healing with Ma, and Ma called me up on the carpet, which for those of you who don't know about journey of profound healing, you don't want to be on the carpet. Like I was like, not me, please. I mean, I had already done it. So when you have to get up there again, it's like not your favorite place. But Ma said to me, what did you do to your femininity when you were 17? And I realized that I had really squished it. I wanted to be with the guys. I wanted to go to school. I wanted to go to college and like be, and I had really suppressed it. And so energetically, what I had to do is bring my feminine side back. And then I had to take actions. And it was like right after that was when this whole conversation of Mary Magdalena and creating the Magdalena program, that was only like a few months later where we had the idea. So I was already working in that, knowing I had to move over to this way, especially if I didn't want to get it again.
Right.
Because I knew what I created, I could decreate. I already knew that teaching. So I had to decreate the, and whatever the treatments and all that for the breast cancer. But, and so it was a combination of all of that, bringing this, having the desire and the intention and the focus to bring back in and balance this masculine and feminine energy. And we know Mary Magdalena was an amazing balanced masculine and feminine. So it would make sense. I mean, when I can tell you, when Ma told me tenderness, I was like, oh man, couldn't it be like, really tough? I was at the cross. I stood at the cross. I was there with those apostles.
Right.
I was like, I was all in for that part of Mary Magdalena. This tenderness was like a foreign language, as I said. So anyway, long answer.
Yeah. No, that's great. And I think so many of us can relate to either relying more on the masculine or the feminine, right? So some people out there will be more comfortable or more trained, let's say, in the feminine, and then the same for the masculine. But what I want people to kind of begin to understand is the power of the impact of the balance. What's possible in every single person's life when you can find that balance. And I think finding the balance is a piece, and the power is what propels it forward. So I don't want to use the word force because that's what we're moving away from. But for me, it's like when I can find that balance and that internal alignment, and then the power is just so strong in me, I'm moving forward, but it's not from a place. This is where I have to be careful, and maybe you can speak to this too, Mary. Like the the way that I move forward has to be from a place of love and wanting something, power that rather than dislike or not wanting something.
Oh, definitely, because Ma would say to us all the time, march for peace, don't march against war, because the energy that you do against something is a fear-based energy. Okay, like this shouldn't be happening, or I have to stand. No, march for something. What energy put on the planet, the energy that you want to see more of, which would be peace. Okay, it doesn't mean you don't take action, but you take it from this place, and depending what your role would be. Okay. So I think, does that speak to what you're asking? You always have, and I wouldn't even say a want, you always have like a goal or an objective, like let's create this. I don't want it like I have to have it like an attachment, but it's like, let's do this. And then as you move into your heart and you said to the universe, so you always have to say what you want or intend what you want. Why? Because we have free will here. And there's that teaching, ask and it's given. The problem is we ask, part of us wants it and part of us doesn't want it. Or part of us wants it and wants our whole family to approve of what we want. So you're in two reality.
Right.
You say, so you always want to have like what do I want to create? What's my next creation? Like, because you're a creator. The problem is our minds are all over the place and we don't focus energy on what we're creating. The minute I put good focus on something, it's like, and that's what's cool. I don't usually do two minds on things. like I want it and don't want it. I'm like, no, this is what I'm
Exactly.
ready. So you use your imagination, the gift of your imagination, you create it, and then you focus there, and then you allow the energy to move you there with your heart, and you keep your heart open versus making this like intensity of force that when you were speaking of,
Right.
that just repels. That's a repelling energy versus an attraction based energy where people want to come and join you. And next thing you know, you just hear about this, and then this comes in, and then you think you have this great plan. Good luck with that. And next thing you know, you're over here doing it this way. And
Mm-hmm.
you realize, wow, I can still create it, and it's this way. So when you have a roadblock, or you have patience isn't another one of my strong suits. But sometimes I have to wait for it to get lined up versus trying to
Mm-hmm.
pushing it, swimming upstream. When you're swimming upstream, you are going in the wrong direction. Does that
Mm-hmm.
make sense?
Yep. And so as we're thinking of like what I want to highlight is ways that people could minimize their power, or like what should we be looking out for as like red flags that we need like a course readjustment, especially in the feminine aspect, Mary.
Well, women are trained, or just natural to be caring about another. That's like in us. I mean, we have to raise the children, and historically, this is like in our the way we
Mm-hmm.
are. So when you find yourself minimizing things, minimizing what you need, minimizing, like some of us don't even wake up, and we're so busy doing this and doing this, the things we have to do, that we don't even say, well, what would my soul like to do today? Well, what is my
Mm-hmm.
soul calling me today? And you can't be a people pleaser and please your soul at the same time, because you're in two boats. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they say you can't serve two masters. So it's, again, when you have children, obviously your responsibility is to educate them, and they're a big priority. But there comes a time that you free them, and especially, and you always, even with young children, you make time for your soul. What is my soul? What would, when can I carve this time out for me? And not what does everybody else want me to do? Because they don't get your soul's urging. Your soul is urging you to do something. So you
Mm-hmm.
really have to flip priorities for that,
Yeah.
and really look at how you people please. Because people pleasers, they don't really tell the truth. They tell you what they think you want to hear. They don't take care of what their needs are. Oh, I couldn't ask for that. That so and so will be upset with me.
Right.
Really? So, and we're trained like that. That's a biggest thing to watch. Like, do I do in taking even action every night before you go to sleep or in the morning? What does my soul want to do today? What's for, and spending time in meditation and going inward. It's critical right now. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. So, and what I'm hearing through this and some of the other sharing is really figuring out using your imagination or your intuition, going inward to figure out what you want,
Mm-hmm,
to figure out that goal or just a day what you want.
mm-hmm,
And power to me is kind of the bridge that will get us there.
mm-hmm,
And so when you're on the bridge, I hope this metaphor is making sense to everybody. Look out for the traps. So that would be the people pleasing. That would be the minimizing. And then on the other side, that would be the force.
mm-hmm,
Like when Mary shared, like sometimes she would go and she would do it alone and it would get done, but it's not the same way that Magdalena healing was created, for example. So look out for, we'll call them the traps. And what's your trap? And you can write that in the chat, share with us. Like, are you the one that says, oh, I'll share one? And this was a shocking trap for me because I'm usually more on the fourth side. But my trap, I found myself at a restaurant a few weeks ago and I said to the waiter, oh, when you get a chance, could I just have a little bit more water? Caught myself. I'm like, who is this person? A little bit more water? Like that for me. And that was a way where I was certainly not in my power.
Mhm.
And I know that that's a small example, but I think what's important about small examples is that is how you are showing up in other places too.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
shifting things on a small scale can make a difference because it's like, going through school, okay? Like first grade is going to prepare you for second grade, for third grade, and then all of a sudden you're in college. So the small actions add up. Okay, so Mary, we are over time, but if I could just, I know you're busy, if I could just ask one more question.
One more.
Was that a way that I just stepped out of my power?
No,
Maybe.
you were in your power. You go. We say it
Okay.
powerfully though. A little more power.
Yeah, okay. One more question, please. Oh, and this is good, Mary. Could you speak about how people can begin to step into this true feminine power? Like what's one thing that we could do? I know for me, like I really practice sometimes speaking from my solar plexus. Like that would be one thing. Could you share for people who are really wanting to move into this true feminine power? Like, where do I start?
Okay, so first of all, I would rate myself. Where am I on this power thing? Am I too masculine? Am I too feminine? Like, where am I? Because I think that's going to determine what's your next step. So if you're really more powerless, we could call you, and you're more like letting everybody, then you want to get in your belly because that's your power center. Okay. And merge that with your heart. You keep your heart open, but you need the energy of your power center. Okay. So I would do things that would activate the power center. There's all sorts of things you could do. You could even get a third chakra at the belly, and one of those meditations you can get on YouTube, and start activating your power center and speak from there. Don't speak from this little girl voice upstairs. Do you think you could mind? Would you do that for me? You're like, nobody's going to listen to that. Do kids ever listen to that? No. You got to speak from here. No, you're not going to that rave party you want to go to or whatever they want to do. So if you're weak and lower there and you want to bring that up, go here. If you're more like me, very strong here, I have to go to my heart. So for me, it's breathing, moving inside, toning it down, asking rather than demanding, or changing my languaging. I had to change my languaging at time. But mostly people had to more feel my heart. And then that becomes the new pattern. So for me, maybe fourth chakra, heart chakra, opening that up more. And then it's really a matter of taking new actions, because then the brain gets it and the body gets it. Oh, I can slow down. I can open my heart. I can invite you. Your wording, like, I want you to do this, or I invite you to. It's more of a balancing thing, but you still feel that it's powerful, and you feel that you can feel my heart. And then you can decide or not, and not be attached to who does what I want to do or doesn't want to do. Just allow people to be magnetized to what you're creating, or to what is it a match for what they wanted to create, and then joyously do it together. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, so that's great. So for people who are watching, the summary would be rate yourself. Where are you on this scale in terms of the more masculine and the more feminine? If you're on the more feminine side, really drop into your solar plexus and align that with your heart. And on the other side, move more into your heart and take action from there. Yeah. All right. Well, y'all, I am so grateful Mary joined us today. For anyone who doesn't know me, I'm a huge fan of Mary Sise. She's very special to me. So
oh,
I'm grateful for the opportunity to have Mary on today to share about this quality um, that really was so integral to Magdalena healing and so much more. So thanks for joining us, Mary. Thank you everyone for watching. Please continue to engage with us throughout the month. We've got some great social media content coming out. Um, and we look forward to seeing you online and in future months. Thank you all.